it just has broken me. Chris wanted me to talk about inducing.
Well, I told him, like, hey, look, I got a pregnant wife. We're trying to get this baby out.
I'm pretty sure part of my mucus plug just fell out. December 10th, original baby's due date. Clearly she's not here. I haven't vlogged very much since the end of our last vlog because I've been pretty miserable. While I did say PUPPS was manageable and I was managing it and trying to stay positive, I have had multiple flare-ups that happen usually in the middle of the night or early morning. It just has broken me. I don't know how else to describe it. So I had my doctor's appointment today. She came over and checked me and I'm 2 centimeters dilated. She did a full membrane sweep. She could feel the amniotic fluid.
Baby has hair.
Baby has hair. She could feel like the sac and everything. And we also discussed possible induction because of how miserable I've been. And of course I cried and broke down in front of her and that was embarrassing because I don't think, in my mind, the baby's not in distress. Everything's healthy, like everybody's healthy, so there's no reason to schedule an induction. But she said that the state that I'm in mentally and emotionally is every reason to schedule an induction because I can't keep going on like this for. So we're scheduling an induction for Sunday. If she doesn't come naturally, we'll most likely induce on Sunday, which would only be a few days from 41 weeks. So technically, I think in California,
you would have to anyway.
Yeah, at 41 weeks, at the end of 41 weeks, I think, like I would have to like really beg them to not do it.
Yeah.
So she walked me through the process and kind of what it would be like to try and ease my mind a bit more. And she said, you know, I'm open, like I'm not being induced from 0, which is usually the horror stories you hear where the woman is just so tight and like not dilated at all, not ready, because I'm also 50% effaced. So if you're inducing from 0 and no effacement, then obviously the process is going to be a lot longer. But because I'm already 2 centimeters as of this morning, 50% effaced, and baby is very, very low. That's the thing. That's the thing that's been driving me crazy, is that I literally have all the signs of like it's a go, but it's a go isn't happening. Like, so I think that's been really frustrating, especially since that's kind of what's been getting me through each miserable pup inflamed night. And so, you know, I'm just trying to focus on managing the symptoms of PUPPS, which, to be honest, like, I got my membrane sweep and that's very uncomfortable and almost kind of painful. I'd rather get that done every hour on the hour than have PUPPS. That's how miserable PUPPS is. And like my positivity and my like, I'm gonna fight through this and manage it, it's just, it's not.
Slowly decreasing.
Yeah, it's very much slowly decreasing. I gave in and took Benadryl last night. Chris wanted me to talk about inducing. He didn't even have to bring it up like he normally does at the doctor's appointment. I just, my doctor brought it up because of how miserable I've been. I love her though, because so she called me to let me know she was here, and then I was like, hello? She's like, hi, I'm downstairs. And I was like, okay, how are you? And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, what?
She could tell.
Yeah, I was trying so hard to put on like a cheery voice.
Well, you were also knee deep in the middle of like a really bad flare up, so like, you know.
Yeah. like, so I lost weight. I've significantly lost a few pounds, which is a huge sign that, like,
she's coming.
You're about to have labor. You can't make a huge, people are insane these days. I have low back pain that comes and goes. So it's not just like back pain, it's like clearly labor back pain. She's super, super low. It feels like I'm carrying a giant bowling ball in my vagina. And I have the urge to nest whenever I do have energy.
I mean, what else is there?
I get cramping.
Yeah.
So that's another early sign. I literally have like every early sign except for consistent contractions, bloody show, and mucus plug. Headed to my physical therapist.
You're gonna walk for 10 minutes and hopefully that will help.
And then maybe she can fix that pocket of fluid in my back. Everybody keeps saying I have a pocket of fluid in my back, but I don't see it. Well, it's in my back, so I can't see it.
I can, like, we can put a mirror up and I can show you when we get home. Like, it pokes out of your back about this far. Like, if this is the flat surface of your back, it pokes out like a good that much. And it's just fluid, like, because I watch the chiropractic videos to fall asleep to at night. Like, I know, I see that on people when they're having back problems. Like, they always point to that.
Funny thing is, like, I don't even care because I'm so uncomfortable with the itching.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can manage pain more than I can manage this itching, I think.
Well, the itching is just consistently, like, it's always just there, you know what I mean?
I think the worst part is I can't take a hot shower or bath. I can't even really take a warm one. Like, before getting pregnant, I love hot showers and baths. Like, Chris would be like, how is your skin not burning off? Once you get pregnant, you can't do that, so I've toned it down. But when you have PUPPS, the rash is irritated by pressure and heat. So in order to get any relief, I have to take almost a cold bath with the oatmeal bath mix from Aveeno Baby. And it's just not satisfying to me. Like, everyone says those baths soothe you, and yes, because I'm so cold, it like takes down the inflammation and it takes down the itching because it's cold. It's also why I'll sleep with ice packs. But it's not comforting. Like, it's really not comfortable. So it's like either you're itchy or you're cold. And it's not like, ooh, I'm a little chilly. It's like I need to freeze my skin to numb it. So that's just really frustrating and uncomfortable, and doing it 3-4 times a day just to like not be a misery is not fun. And then I lather myself in calamine lotion, which just has this weird connotation with the smell because I just associate it with like misery. And the calamine lotion only works until like for a couple hours before it kind of stops working. So, I don't know. I know this is like a complainy intro, but I'm trying to just share all the details because...
Well, the problem is nobody talks about it. How many of you people knew about PUPPS?
Until you experienced it or until you watched my videos.
Yeah, like my guess is not a lot of you, but it's a very common thing in first-time pregnancies, and nobody talks about it. Like, why? Why is this something at almost, 40 years old that we're just learning about? That's ridiculous.
Well,
that's absolutely ridiculous. That's not covered in like basic sex ed classes in high school.
Well, and you were saying something that like your great grandmother probably would have had an herbal solution to help ease it.
Yeah, I guarantee you that my grandmother and the generations before her probably had some sort of like food or herbs or something that you could have eaten to help relieve some of the itching. Because from what I can gather reading, on Google and everything, it looks like it's the two main causes are the sudden stretching of skin as well as the overtaxation of the internal organs. So something like watercress, that is a natural blood cleanser, probably if you mix that with some herbs or whatever, would help to, you know, ease the itching. But because
I had watercress salad last night and it helped.
But because we have become so dependent upon modern medicine, which is not bad to have modern medicine, but let us not forget that, you know, we can get most everything we need from the earth itself. Like, I guarantee you, the old timers had something to help with this, and we've just become so, like, detached from that generation that, you know, it's going to die off. Like, my grandmothers are all dead.
Our moms are dead.
Our moms are dead. Like, who's going to pass this knowledge on now that it's forgotten? It's incredibly sad to think about that for me. Because growing up, we had a lot of that stuff. Like, you know, like, oh, you had a stomach ache, well, take this. You know, you don't immediately reach for or go to the doctor or whatever. You know? Because that can have side effects too. There's a guy I know who has severe stomach problems from being overprescribed antibiotics.
It also just makes me sad too. Like, I think 2 nights ago when I woke up crying and just was like sobbing in the bathtub, I was like, I miss my mom, because she would have some insane friend herbal remedy that she would try and make me drink that would probably taste so awful that my body would just stop producing the hives. Yeah. I'm not quite sure if the herbs made it better or if it was so bad that my body was like, just don't drink that anymore.
Yeah, like, we'll stop itching if you promise not to drink that.
Yeah, so it's just like a lot of, you know, I don't know. I'm like almost 40. I'm not almost 40. Am I?
You're closer to 40 than you are 30.
I'm mid-30s. Can we keep saying I'm mid-30s until next year? But it's just, it makes me sad because in times like this, like, I miss my mom. She might not even have any remedies.
She would probably just make something up. Honestly, like.
Knowing my mom.
Yeah, she'd be like, take this. What is it? I don't know.
Chris and I picked up some food on our way home from PT, and I feel really, my spirit feels a lot more lifted. Something about the women at my physical therapy office, they've just been such a blessing during this pregnancy, especially during COVID-19. Do you think it's safe to share where I go? Because I want to give where I go for PT, because I feel like I want to give them such high praises.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm done. Today was officially my last day. The Origin, formerly known as Bebe, in Santa Monica. They specialize in pregnancy, prenatal, and postpartum, as well as any female situation that you might need physical therapy for. And I was just telling them, like, don't you feel like every time I leave, I'm like a different person? Yeah. Like, not just physically, but like mentally and emotionally, I feel better.
Yeah, it's been a definitely something that I would recommend to anyone who's pregnant.
And check with your insurance, because my insurance is pretty decent. It's expensive because we have to pay as individuals. We don't pay into it like if you worked at an office, which is fine. It's part of doing business like as independent contractors. So it's expensive every month, especially for my age. And we're responsible for 60% of everything until we reach our deductible, which is $10,000 for the year. It's very expensive. But for all the plans that make the most sense, where I can still choose my care providers, this makes the most sense for me. So even with my insurance, that rarely covers kind of anything outside of an office visit or necessary medical care, I was able to get 60% of all visits covered, which was, I think, what was it, $30 a visit?
Yeah, it's worth it, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, the baby is, after talking to the doctor, just seeing the whole pregnancy, like, overall, where the baby has been and is now, like, this close to delivery, it's in a good position, it's dropped low, like, and I feel like taking care of the body through physical therapy and things has really played a part in that. So hopefully when we get to the actual hospital with delivery, it'll be a smooth process because we've prepped going into it.
But not just that, like,
you just feel better.
Mentally and emotionally being surrounded by other women, and it's a safe space. Like, I get kind of uncomfortable talking about a lot of the female things that happen, and they make it so okay. Like, they just make it so warming and open and like, and not weird or uncomfortable to the point where they're like, have you tried why can't I pronounce that word? Perineal massages. Have you tried nipple stimulation? Like, a lot of these things that I get like a little like, I don't want to talk about it, but they make it so open. I don't know how to describe it, but anyways, they've really helped me every week when I feel like I can't do this alone. They make me realize I'm not alone, and not that like you're chopped liver, but you know what I mean.
I'm chopped liver.
Like,
no, I'm spicy jambalaya.
oh, so we got spicy food, and I was like, jambalaya sounds good. So we tried this new place, and the funniest thing is, like, we ordered it, and we didn't really ask for the total. We ordered a lot of food too, but he goes and picks it up. I'm sitting in the car, and he's just like, $75, and I was like, what? And he was just like, yeah. And this stuff's not even really expensive because it's catfish.
Yeah, it's dirt fish, it's catfish, it's shrimp, like, it's cheap.
It's cheap materials, let's just say. It's not cheap, it's just cheaper materials. It's not like we were eating sushi or something.
It doesn't require like a big boat to go out in the Alaskan Ocean and farm this salmon, and no. Anyways,
we came home, we started eating it, and we totally ate our words. It's worth every $75.
So good. It was so good.
I just was like, hey honey, I know you're kind of pissed how much we spent, but we're coming back.
It's so freaking, I can't even be that mad because it was delicious.
It was worth the $75.
Yeah. Like, it's tough to find really good Cajun food because it's either,
well, you're also from the South, so you're like, $75.
Yeah, because that would cost $25 with tip.
where I'm from.
Like, and it would have been equally as delicious. So to find that,
oh really?
Yeah. So to find that here, like, the catfish was, because catfish, when you fry it, it can be mushy inside. Like, it's not difficult to do, but it's like, if you don't get it right, you don't get it right.
Well, the jambalaya was delicious. He had a lot of it because it was so. He's on the phone. He's like, "Is your jambalaya spicy?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, it's okay. Can you make it spicier?" And I'm like,
well, I told him, like, hey, look, I got a pregnant wife. We're trying to get this baby out. Like, can you spice this thing up?
And I was like, now you know they're gonna be like resentful when they make this thing because you're asking for it to be extra spicy.
Oh yeah.
And I took a bite, and like, I thought I was gonna die.
They would summon the devil.
And then we got beignets. Those were delicious. I got the fried oysters. I wanted the charred oysters, but they said there's something about it.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what they meant when they said that they didn't want to do char-grilled oysters because they didn't want people to get sick because it was takeout. I don't really understand that.
Because I thought it was cooked.
By the way, if anybody watching this lives in New Orleans, there is a place called Drago's in New Orleans. It's by one of the malls there. Literally, the char-grilled oysters there will change your life. They are that good. Like, it's my favorite place in the entire United States to eat oysters. And you could literally just eat them all day long. So if you're in Louisiana, if you're in New Orleans and you haven't been there, go check them out.
But yeah, I was sitting there eating the jambalaya, having a really hard time eting it. And I was like, look, if this baby doesn't come out from this spicy food, something else is coming out. And he was all like, and then he kept eating it, and I'm like, honey, you know your stomach's gonna hate you. And he's all like, no, my butthole's gonna quit. And I about died.
Legit.
He's like,
I quit. I'm done. I'm tired of being abused.
anyways, but if you're in the LA area and you need help with any
Jeez, dude.
And you need help with any female anatomy kind of thing, or if, let's just say you're pregnant and you just need a community, and because of COVID and everything, I really recommend the Origin in Santa Monica. What's the street?
It's on San Vicente, I think.
San Vicente.
So if you go down Wilshire, make a right, I think it's on San Vicente. Go down to where like the John and Vinny's Pizza and Susie Cakes is.
They also will work with you with your insurance plan, because I had brought that up like in the beginning. I was like, I don't know what my insurance will cover and how much it will cover, even if it covers any of it. So we discussed it, and they're like, we'll work with you, like we'll figure it out. But I think I'm gonna book, once baby gets here, I'm gonna book
the postpartum.
Or
postpartum.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that could be corrected from labor, delivery, and postpartum. Like, one is just making sure that I don't have the, what is it when your abs split?
I don't know.
It's a thing, like a lot of pregnant women, their abs, I can think of how it's spelled, I can't pronounce it. One is to really make sure that that's healed and recovered, and how bad the split, they say now everybody splits a little bit, but it's about recovering it and properly recovering it, like not jumping right into crunches. Like, you have to slowly kind of.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I don't know that I would say everybody splits. I would think that people split.
Everybody's split to an extent is what they're saying, just like everybody tears down there to a bit. I definitely, after I get cleared from the doctor, will also get cleared from them to continue to work out with him. But yeah, my doctor was Caitlin. She's gonna be on maternity leave soon.
January?
Yeah, she's gonna work until the first week of January. But I highly recommend her, and I highly recommend anyone there, really. They really have been like an emotional and mental saving grace, as well as just keeping me healthy. Because there were some weeks where I like injured myself and I was like, what is that? And they kind of fixed it. Now, I will preface this. Doesn't matter how much physical therapy you do or go to if you don't do the homework.
Yeah, which we do.
Which I was very aggressive with keeping up with my homework. Up until the last trimester, I had to slow it down just because I had a lot of homework and I was like, I can't do all this. So then she modified it and just told me to do the stretches. Homework will be like low impact resistance training with bands.
Also
or
the stretching
and the stretching. Mainly for me, it's a lot of the stretching and the positions to open things up, because I hunch a lot, and so that's really kept my body as in line as possible throughout this pregnancy. Anyways, I just wanted to give them a shout out and also let you guys know about this resource. And if you're not in LA, obviously ask around, ask your doctors, search on Yelp, just ask people if they know of a specialized physical therapy for women anatomy specifically. So I'm gonna go take a bath because calamine lotion's wearing off. I'm getting itchy again. Gonna take a bath, reapply the calamine. It is December 10th, 10 p.m. and I'm pretty sure part of my mucus plug just fell out. And I feel achy. So we shall see. It's now the waiting game. Also, just got out of trying to soothe PUPPS. It's not even the worst of it. It's now on my hands, in between my fingers, which is very irritating. I'm hoping this means contractions will start soon. Really hoping. Right, Dolly? You'll stay with Auntie Tiff, or she'll come stay with you. Excited to meet baby Elle? What do you think?